Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. I hope wherever you are in the world, today has been treating you so well. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about powders, setting powders, finishing powders, mattifying, some with slightly more luminous finishes, brightening, all of the things. As a fully paid up member of the Dry Skinned Gal committee, I am so picky when it comes to powders. You know, if I am recommending them, they work for dry skin. I am so picky. I have very dry skin, but I also get quite sweaty throughout the day. So I like to look matte. I like my face to be more of a matte finish and then add the glow in more of a targeted way, but I also like to use quite hydrating base products. So finding that balance is very difficult, and finding a powder that works under all of those circumstances is very difficult. So all of these have my seal of approval. All of them I think are fantastic. If you like this video idea, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I would love to hear if any of these are your favourites as well, or if there's any that I haven't recommended here that you love, I would also love to hear about it. Because I love trying different powders, I love testing them. So many of them let me down, but all of these ones are firm favourites. I enjoy every single one of them equally, but I have a couple that are like a little bit more favourites, and I will get into those. But all of these are Dry Skin Gal approved. I think that they are lovely, and I hope that you agree. So all of these will be linked down below. And let's just get on into it. So starting with the Essence Flawless Skin Trio Loose Setting Powder. This is what the packaging looks like. It has got like a peachy colour, a pink and a lilac, all in the same tub. I was about to say packet. I was like, that doesn't sound right. It came with a sort of dial thing on top so that you could just pick one colour to sort of target different areas with different colours. I like to just mix all three different shades together. I actually like keep the lid on. I turn this upside down, I give it a little smack, and then I turn it the right way up and just mix all three together. And I find the finish beautiful, so beautiful. I like to use this one with a brush. I like to really like work the product into the brush and sort of do a very light layer all over the skin, and then add a little bit more where I feel like I need it, perhaps down the center of my face. Sort of in this area is where I get quite shiny, not even in like an oily way, but just I'm a hot sweaty gal, what can I say? But I like to look matte, so the powders are like an integral part of my routine. And this one just blurs everything out so beautifully. I don't necessarily notice any of the colours doing anything in particular. I don't use it necessarily to brighten or, you know, for any of those reasons. Like it does say blurring, brightening, smoothing on the lid. I wouldn't necessarily say that I notice the brightening so much, but I do notice the smoothing and the setting. It definitely sets my makeup down in a very beautiful way. But like none of them are like drying on the skin, you know? So first up, a loose powder from Essence. Beautiful sort of soft focus, very finely milled option. Next up is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Powder Filter. I have this in the shade Fair Warm, and I will say I really hope that they do a shade extension, because this is the lightest shade that has a warm undertone, which I have got a warm undertone, and this is still, even in the height of summer, this is a little bit darker than my skin tone. I can get away with it. I am mentioning this one because I love the finish. This is more of a, it still looks a little bit luminous on the skin, even though it blurs and it sets. But I'm mentioning this one specifically because they have shades and they have shade options. So even if you're not very, very fair. Some of these that I'm going to talk about will only work for you if you are as fair as I am. But this one, because they have shades and they have deeper options with different undertones as well, hopefully you'll be able to find one that works for you even if you have a deeper skin tone. This, like I say, it has got a luminous finish, but it still sets. It still elongates the wear of my makeup. When I first got this, it had a little puff in the bottom of it. I immediately threw that away. The puff made the powder so chunky and just not even usable, truly. I hated it. Every time I used the little puff that it came with, it was just awful. I like to use this one with a brush as well. Very, very lightly swirl into it. Big motions to sort of set quite widely. And then again, go back in if I need a little bit more. The finish of this still gives your skin some life. It still looks natural on the skin. I wouldn't necessarily say I notice any sort of blurring with this one, but it does add that nice set layer. It does add that little bit of reassurance that there is a powder on the skin, but it still looks lovely and glowy. I just wish that there was a lighter shade than this with a warm undertone, because the only shade that is lower than this is very, very pink, and it just would not work for my skin tone. I don't actually even know how many shades they brought out in this. It may have been 10, truly. I don't even know why I'm guessing, because I can't remember. But a warm, fairer shade than this would definitely be preferable, because like I say, it's summer. I am as tanned as I will ever get now. Believe it or not, I am as tanned as I will ever get. And this shade is considerably deeper than my skin tone, unfortunately. Another one that I feel is similar to the e.l.f., but I would maybe say I prefer it. This is the 17 Ultimate Look Finishing Powder. So I have this in the shade 010. This has a huge pan in it. This is, I like so much use out of this. This, similar to the e.l.f. one, has colour options. This has shade options. I'm not saying that it's the greatest shade options, because it's not, but there are options. This is less glowy. It is more of a mattifying finishing powder, very lightly milled, very sort of soft in the pan. I can use this with a puff, but I prefer to use this one with a brush. I don't even know what my words are. I prefer to use this one with a brush. This is the one that I keep in my handbag for touch-ups on the go. I love this powder. Did I say what shade I wear? I think I did. 010. When I first got this, I got 020, and I can make that work, but sort of similar to the e.l.f. one, it is a little bit dark. 010, beautiful. This one, out of all of them, if I have a spot, I can sort of layer a little bit of this over. In fact, I've got a little spot down here. I will just pick up a little bit with my finger, so you can see it has got a little bit of coverage. And you can add a little bit of coverage where you maybe need it, and it's more of a mattifying finish. Again, very lightly milled, very soft, very smoothing. Possibly, I don't know the prices off the top of my head, but possibly the most affordable one that I'm going to mention here. So pretty. And like 17, like the Boots own brand, 17, it's just beautiful and just looks sort of buttery soft on the skin, not mattifying in like a very matte way. I hope that makes sense. Like, it does mattify, it does set down if you've got a very glowy base on, but it doesn't look flat, because I don't ever want that. Then let's talk about another one that, like, this one is not going to work for everybody, okay? This is the only colour that they do. So this is the Essence Brighten Up Banana Powder. Like, you know what you're getting yourself in for with a banana powder, but this one is, like, this is the only shade that they do in this powder. However, if you're of a similar skin tone to me, or maybe even perhaps a little bit like light to medium skin tones, I do still think you could potentially use this with a light hand. This under the eyes, if I have a foundation on that is maybe a little bit too dark for me, I can use this one to sort of lighten and brighten sort of down the center of my face, but it also adds that mattifying finish. I would say this one is more of like a finishing powder that I would use for that very specific reason, to sort of brighten, but because it's a powder, it does still have that mattifying finish. Again, very, very smooth, very sort of soft, very more of like that finishing, like a little, you feel like you need something at the end once you're done, you know, rather than I need to mattify. I use this because I need to brighten. I feel like it's the end of the day as I'm filming this and my words aren't really wording. But beautiful, beautiful brightening powder, but not going to work for everybody. Then another one that's not going to work for everybody, because this one is white. This is the Essence All About Matte Fixing Powder. This is white. It doesn't necessarily show up like crazy white like it does when you first swatch it, but the white does sort of disperse. This is the most mattifying of all of the powders. I mean, it's literally in the name. It's all about matte. It is the most mattifying. So if I need something to last like an incredible amount of time, I would use this. But as a dry skin gal, I would always go over the top with a setting spray. And just, I know you didn't ask, but the e.l.f. Stay All Night setting spray. This is the best setting spray. This one is like so close to being empty. I need to get another one. But this over basically any foundation combination, then with that powder, with the setting spray over the top, really will lock everything in all day, keep you very, very matte. I could touch up with this one throughout the day. I wouldn't necessarily choose this one over like the 17 one that I just dropped on the floor. If that's broken. It's not broken, we're okay. Yeah, basically the 17 one is the only one that I would take with me anywhere, just because I like having that little bit of extra pigment as well if I'm doing like touch-ups throughout the day. But in terms of like actual mattifying, even on very, very dry skin, this is the most mattifying out of all of the powders that I'm going to mention here, which like I said, it's in the name. I would expect All About Matte to be the most mattifying. And I will say as well, it does say on the back of here, for all skin tones. I just don't know how much I trust that. If you have more of like a medium to deep skin tone, or even like whatever your skin tone is, if you have tried this and it works for you, I would love to hear what you think of that one, because it's good for me to know as well. So next up is the Collection Blurring Powder. Now, I was gifted this, however, when I first saw this, I was like, there is not a chance that these blue tones aren't going to show up on my skin. I was like, these are going to, like, this powder is going to turn my face blue. I was so sure of it. Like, you can see the, like, obviously it's got this big section of pink, and all of them are a little bit different, but it's got this big section of pink, but there is also like a lot of blue in there. I was like, that is going to make me look crazy, and it just doesn't. It is almost like, I can feel a little bit of like a cushiony, it's a little bit almost like a baked texture, in that it feels almost like foamy which I think adds to, I've just swatched a little bit there so that you can see it doesn't show up blue, but the way that this blurs the skin, the way that this just smooths everything out, I was so sure this was going to turn my face blue. I was terrified, but has become a firm favourite. Like, since I tested this, it has not made it back into the drawers. Again, I don't really like this one with a puff, just because I feel like then I get too much. Generally with powders, I do prefer using a brush just so that I can get a very small amount and just set everywhere very lightly, because that's all that I need. But there's just something about this formula that just smooths over any texture, smooths over any pores, or like just anything. And the way that it lasts throughout the day as well, it just looks beautiful, like so beautiful for like a long day, but also if I just need something to instantly set everything down and blur and just look flawless, this is the one that I have been going for. Just, I don't know, there's something about, I actually thought that this had mica in it because it is a little bit luminous, but not as much as the e.l.f. one. Like, it's not on the same level as the e.l.f. one. If I wanted to still look glowy, I would go for this one. This one just makes your skin look naturally matte and blurred, but just in the most beautiful soft way. And then lastly, my favourite powder of all time that I use, I have repurchased this 3 times now, the Revolution IRL 2-in-1 loose and pressed powder duo. The powder on the top, the pressed one, I don't necessarily love. It's fine, I do still use it. I don't ever throw it away, I do use it, but it's nowhere near the level of incredible that the loose powder underneath is. I really do think that this is the best powder for dry skin, but also I have heard people who have more oily skin also love this. So I think that everybody would love this. I actually think it was one of my subscribers who told me that I needed to try this, which is why I'm always asking for recommendations, because so many things that I love now are products that I only ever tried because a subscriber recommended them to me. So I am literally always open to suggestions. This is the only thing I don't like is the packaging. Like, the packaging is clunky, the packaging is large, the loose powder underneath, it doesn't have any sort of stopper to it, so the powder does just go everywhere. I wouldn't necessarily travel with this, I would travel with one of the pressed powders, but for basically any sort of occasion, I would pick this. If I was getting married tomorrow, I would use this powder, like this loose powder. It's just beautiful. Again, smoothing and blurring and mattifying, but it still has that little bit of something to it that just makes dry skin sing. It just leaves your skin looking set and matte, but not dry. It doesn't emphasize any dryness, it doesn't add to any dryness, but it makes everything last all day long. All day long. And I just love it. And it truly is translucent as well. I mean, I feel like I can't even, my hands are covered in powder now. I don't even feel like I can swatch it, but I have used that powder so many times on my channel, and if you have seen any of my videos before, you will know the love that I have for that powder. It's beautiful. So they are my recommendations. They are my top 7. I would love to hear if you have tried any of these. What do you think of them? If you've got dry skin or otherwise, I want to hear what you think of these. If you are more of an oily human and you love any of these powders, I would love to hear it, because a lot of them I feel like will work for a lot of people, but as a dry skin gal, I don't feel like I can speak for other members of the community, you know? So I don't want to say that any of these will work for oily skin or otherwise, but I feel like a lot of them still will, because they are fantastic and affordable and cruelty free. I love. So I would love to hear any comments that you have down in the comment section down below. I need to go and make myself my tea because it is so late and I am losing my mind. But until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye bye.